The average woman decides whether she would ever sleep with you within the first 7 seconds of meeting you. Let that sink in. Before you even speak, before she knows your name, her brain has already scanned your posture, your eyes, your energy. And in most cases, her mind is made up. You think you're building attraction over time? Nah. In many cases, you're either in or out before the game even starts. But here's what most men don't get. Attraction isn't a debate. It's not logical, it's psychological. And trying to reason your way into a woman's heart is like trying to teach a lion not to hunt. This is why most men fail. They overanalyze, overgive, overchase, and they lose themselves in the process. But the Stoic man, he understands one thing: what you can't control must not control you. So he doesn't chase approval. He doesn't react to games. He stands still in a world that wants to pull him off balance. Because the moment you stop needing to win her over, that's when you start becoming the kind of man she can't ignore. In this video, you'll learn the 5 biggest mistakes most men make when trying to understand female psychology, and how applying Stoic principles will turn you into a man who commands respect, attraction, and peace of mind, without saying a word. Before we dive in, take a moment to subscribe if you're ready to transform how you handle relationships using the power of Stoicism. Every video is a step toward mastering your mindset and building stronger, more meaningful connections. Mistake number 1: misunderstanding female validation. Most men grow up believing the same lie. If I'm nice enough, respectful enough, and always available, she'll eventually like me. But here's the truth. Women don't fall for men who seek validation. They test them. And if you're the type who constantly needs her attention, her reassurance, her approval, she might smile. She might even flirt. But deep down, she doesn't feel safe with you. Why? Because you're not leading, you're following. You're bending yourself just to be liked. You're trying to earn connection like it's some kind of job interview. But female psychology doesn't work that way. Here's what they don't teach you. Women test boundaries, not because they're cruel, but because they're wired to seek strength. And if you fail to hold your ground, if you fold under pressure, change your opinion to match hers, or tolerate disrespect just to keep her around, you fail the test. Because in her subconscious mind, she's asking, if he can't stand firm with me, how will he handle the world? Let that question echo. Now here's the Stoic truth. The man who needs external validation is already lost. He's like a leaf in the wind, blown by every emotion, every reaction, every opinion. But the Stoic man, he doesn't seek approval, he approves of himself, and that alone makes him magnetic. He sets boundaries not to push people away, but to protect his peace. He listens, but he's not swayed by flattery. He's kind, but not weak, because he knows to be respected by others, first you must respect yourself. So here's the mindset shift. Stop asking, what can I do to make her like me? Start asking, am I living in a way that I like myself? When that answer is yes, you'll stop chasing validation and start attracting admiration. Mistake number 2, misreading female independence. There's a modern myth that fools most men today. She's independent. She doesn't need a man. And so, you back off. You become passive. You avoid leading. You start tiptoeing. You think, she's strong. I better not come off as too masculine or I'll scare her away. But you couldn't be more wrong. The truth? Even the most independent woman is biologically wired to crave masculine polarity. That's not an opinion, that's nature, because independence doesn't cancel attraction. In fact, it often intensifies it. A woman who builds, who leads, who fights for her dreams. She doesn't want a boy who hides in her shadow. She wants a man who casts his own. Someone she can respect, not just get along with. Here's what men get wrong. They confuse dominance with strength. They think leading means controlling. But here's the Stoic distinction. Real strength is silent, steady, calm. The Stoic man leads, not through force, but through clarity, presence, and unshakable purpose. He doesn't compete with her independence. He complements it. He doesn't need to overpower her, because power isn't something he uses. It's something he is. And when she senses that, something primal awakens, a deep respect, a quiet trust, a spark of feminine surrender, not out of weakness, but out of recognition. This man walks with gravity. So remember, don't shrink to fit into her world. Expand yours, so big, so grounded, so alive, that she wants to be a part of it. Not because she needs you, but because she chooses to follow a man who leads himself. Hey, before we continue, I've got a question for you. You've heard me talk about some of the biggest mistakes men make when it comes to understanding women. But I want to hear your thoughts. What's the one thing you've learned, whether it's from personal experience or from this video, that has completely changed the way you view women's psychology? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. And to make it even more interesting, I want you to answer with one simple sentence. The Stoic man doesn't chase, he attracts. I'm genuinely curious to see how many of you are already living by this mindset, or if you're still working on it. Either way, let's talk about it in the comments. I'll be responding to some of you, so let's get the conversation going. Mistake number 3, assuming words equal truth. One of the biggest mistakes men make is believing everything a woman says. I'm not ready for a relationship. You're such a good guy, I just need time. You're exactly what I'm looking for, just not right now. And most men, they hear those words and they wait. They hold on to hope. But here's the brutal truth. Women don't always speak in direct lines. They speak in emotion, context, intuition, and yes, sometimes contradiction. Not because they're manipulative, but because feminine communication is different. It's fluid, it's relational, and unless you've been trained to see through the fog, you'll fall for words instead of watching what truly matters, behavior. Because no matter what she says, if she doesn't text back, if she avoids plans, if she's hot one day and cold the next, her behavior is speaking, loud, clear, unfiltered. Her actions reveal her truth. And here's where Stoicism becomes your shield. Don't react to illusions. Respond only to reality. A Stoic man doesn't get trapped in wishful thinking. He doesn't argue with what's not there. He observes, not with judgment, not with bitterness, but with calm awareness. If her words say yes, but her behavior screams no, the answer is no. So stop interpreting, stop romanticizing, start paying attention. Because while other men waste years chasing mixed signals, the Stoic man reads the signs once and moves forward, never backward, because he knows reality never lies. Words sometimes do. Mistake number 4, needing constant reassurance. Let me hit you with a hard truth. Emotionally insecure men are always seeking validation. Now, here's the problem. When you're constantly looking for reassurance, you actually push people away, especially women. It doesn't matter how attractive you are or how charming your words might be. If you're constantly needing that external approval, it's a major turnoff. This goes beyond simple compliments or affirmations. It's the deeper need for someone to tell you that you're okay, that you're enough. And here's the thing, insecurity is the biggest turnoff, period. Women aren't attracted to men who need to be constantly reassured about their worth. Why? Because it signals a lack of inner strength. Now, let's dive into the Stoic perspective here. True strength doesn't come from relying on others to make you feel good about yourself. It comes from being emotionally self-sufficient. A Stoic doesn't need constant validation. The Stoic remains unmoved by the opinions of others because he understands that true peace comes from within. He doesn't seek praise or approval because his confidence is not dependent on someone else's words or actions. Think about it. When you're silent, still, and grounded in who you are, you project an unshakable confidence. That silence speaks louder than any words of reassurance you could ever get. The Stoic doesn't need to constantly be told he's doing well. He knows deep down that he's fine. He is the one who validates himself. If you find yourself constantly seeking validation, here's a challenge for you. Start validating yourself. Stop waiting for others to make you feel worthy. Once you do this, you'll notice something amazing. You'll stop needing that constant external validation, and the respect and attraction you seek will come naturally. Mistake number 5, overestimating their role in her life. Now, here's a big one that many men get wrong. Overestimating their role in a woman's life. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you're the center of her world. But here's the truth you need to swallow. You're just one chapter in her story, not the author of it. That's right. A lot of men act like they're the main character in her life. They believe that her life revolves around them, or that their presence is somehow essential to her happiness. And yes, this happens often, especially when emotions are involved. But here's the reality check. Women have their own lives, their own goals, and their own paths. And while you might play an important role in her journey, you're not the one writing the book. She's the author, and you're just a chapter, one of many that she will write in her life. Psychologically speaking, this is huge. Men who overestimate their importance in a woman's life often set themselves up for disappointment. When you expect to be the entire focus of her world, you're setting yourself up for emotional letdown. When you inevitably realize that she's also got her own priorities, dreams, and ambitions that don't always revolve around you. Now, let's tie this back to Stoicism. This is where the concept of amor fati comes into play. Amor fati translates to love of fate. It's the Stoic idea that you should embrace whatever happens, even when it doesn't go the way you expect. Even when you're not the one she chooses, or when your role in her life isn't as big as you thought. The Stoic accepts the flow of life without resistance. They understand that people come and go, that roles change, and that not everything is in their control. Love your fate even when it's not what you wanted, even when she's not as invested in you as you thought. This is key for mental resilience. When you stop overestimating your role in someone else's life, you begin to appreciate the present moment for what it is, and you learn to let go of the need to control outcomes that aren't yours to control. So next time you start feeling like you're the center of her universe, take a step back. Embrace the reality of your role in her story and be grateful for it. Be content with what you have and trust that your journey will unfold in its own way. Let's talk about something that often gets misinterpreted. Female emotions. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. She's so emotional, I don't get it. But here's the truth most men miss. Women are emotional. Yes, it's true. But this isn't a weakness, it's part of their nature. And far too many men get frustrated trying to rationalize something that is instinctive. You see, women's emotional nature isn't something that needs to be fixed. It's not something you need to understand through pure logic. It's part of who they are, just as much as your need for reason and clarity is part of you. Here's where many men go wrong. They think that emotions should be controlled or avoided, or they think that understanding a woman means making sense of her every feeling with pure rationality. But emotions aren't always meant to be fixed or even understood in the way we often think. Sometimes they're meant to be felt. And the Stoic man doesn't try to control emotions. He simply observes them. He doesn't become consumed by them, nor does he expect others to always meet his standards of rational behavior. Instead, he understands that emotions are just a part of life, and he respects that. let me bring in a powerful lesson from Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers. He said, "We are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens." In other words, it's not the emotions that a woman expresses that should bother you. It's your reaction to them. Your power comes not from trying to control her emotions, but from controlling your response to them. When she's emotional, whether it's happy, sad, or even angry, don't react. Observe, accept, stay grounded. This concept is beautifully reinforced by Marcus Aurelius. He reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When it comes to female nature, this is a crucial lesson. You cannot control the emotions of others, but you can control how you engage with them. If a woman is upset or emotional, the Stoic response isn't to attempt to fix it immediately, nor to let her emotions throw you off course. It's about maintaining your composure, recognizing her emotions as part of her nature, and remaining calm and unshaken in the face of them. This is the core of Stoic wisdom. It's about accepting that life and people will bring emotional waves. You can't stop the waves, but you can choose to remain steady as the storm passes. As we approach the end of this video, let's take a step back and reflect on everything we've covered. You see, most men fail with women, not because they aren't good enough, but because they don't understand women's psychology. They get tangled in their own desires for validation, approval, or affection. But more importantly, they fail to understand themselves. Self-awareness is where the true power lies. Without it, you'll continue to make the same mistakes over and over. And here's where Stoicism gives you the edge. It teaches you to focus on what you can control. You can't control how she feels or how she behaves, but you can control your own actions and reactions. A Stoic man doesn't chase women. He doesn't go running after validation or affection. Instead, he attracts something far more valuable: peace. He creates order in his life and in his mind, and that, in turn, naturally draws the feminine energy towards him. When a man is calm, centered, and unshaken by external forces, he becomes magnetic. And that energy, that inner strength, is what truly attracts the right kind of people into his life, including women. So, to all the men out there who are tired of the chase, remember this: the more you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, the more you understand yourself, the more you'll see that the world, and women in particular, start responding to you in ways you never imagined. If you want to unlock more hidden truths most men never hear, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because there's so much more wisdom and insight waiting for you. The Stoic way isn't just about philosophy, it's about living a life of true strength and understanding. Until next time, stay grounded, stay wise, and remember, what you can't control must not control you. All right, now that you've got a better understanding of the Stoic approach to women's psychology, you might be wondering, but what about those subtle, sneaky psychological tricks women use that most men completely miss? Well, you're in luck. I've got a video that dives deep into exactly that. Click the video that's popping up on your screen right now. 7 psychological tricks women use that most men don't notice. Trust me, it'll blow your mind and give you even more insights into the unspoken game of attraction. And before you go, if you found this video valuable, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about the Stoic approach to women's psychology. See you in the next one.